Yo, it's your boy Bernard, aka the Scarlet Spider, and welcome to another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast, where I'll be talking about all the nerdy stuff that has caught my eye this week. And once again, it is another slow news week because SDCC is this weekend at the time of this recording. So hopefully we get a lot of stuff out of that because it's bare bones right now. So speaking of cons, let's talk about my experience at Florida Supercon. I ain't have fun.
Damn.
I mean, but that's also kind of on me. I really don't go to conventions to have fun per se. I pretty much go to get merch signed and to get autographs because I've been going to conventions more or less since 2007, but I didn't consistently go until like 2014. And the last time I went, my car got towed, but that wasn't part of the convention. That's because the hotel I got didn't have fucking parking, and I had to park on the street. And they claimed that my meter went out, but whatever. I had no intention of going to Supercon this year because, like I said, I go for autographs and whatnot, and the lineup looked very dull until like I want to say like maybe April or so when Loco from the Three Shades podcast hit me up. Shout out to him. Shout out to all three of them actually, because that's who I ended up going with. Told me David Tennant was gonna go. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. So I went, and then they also announced that Ashley Johnson was going to be there. So for those of you who don't know, Ashley Johnson provides the voice of Ellie in the Last of Us game franchise. She also played Ellie's mom in the season finale of season 1 of The Last of Us. She was on Growing Pains, and she was in the Avengers. She had a small scene because a lot of it got cut down. She played the waitress in I believe the yellow outfit. I don't remember per se, but she's single now. But yeah, she also provided the voice of Tara on Teen Titans Go. She was also the voice of Gretchen on Recess. She did the voice of Renee on the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, Petra and Minecraft Story Mode, so on and so forth. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to get my autographs. After that, I'm just going to hang out, whatever. It's Miami, so I really can't complain about the traffic because I knew what it was when I signed up. When I went to Ashley Johnson's autograph table, they decided to, for some odd reason, I don't know if they did it last year since I didn't go, they decided to make they decided to make everyone's autograph table cash only. I wish I had taken a picture of that, but yeah, so it was cash only. And when you go to a con, don't use the ATM because they're gonna hit you with like an $8 to $10 convenience fee. So I didn't get her autograph because of that. And I'm like, okay, no biggie. Then I got in line for David Tennant's autograph. Due to the fact that he was only there Saturday, the line was long as hell. I don't know if you guys saw the video that I posted on Instagram, but if you haven't, I'll see if I can pull it from the archive and I'll post it like here in the corner or something. It's just me in line showing how long the line was. It's roughly about maybe 100, 150 yards. The staff at the convention said, oh, the line is capped off, so everyone who's in this line has to leave and come back in an hour. I'm like, okay, no biggie. David Tennant did that. Went back an hour later. Same thing happened. Line's capped off. Come back in an hour. All right, cool. Whatever. David Tennant's only here Saturday. I knew what it was. Get to the line. No issues with the line anymore. Get to the end of the line to get to his table to pick whatever photo I want to get autographed and whatnot. Oh, we're not doing any cash or card charges anymore. You had to prepay. Prepay was sold out.
Try.
So I just had to take an L for both autographs that I wanted to get signed. So don't know if I'm going next year, but I do know that the previous owner of Florida Supercon, Mike Broder, his non-compete is over with Reed Pop, who purchased Supercon. So he will be having 2 conventions down in Miami this year. He'll be having Animate Miami, and he's having one like horror themed one, which is in October. I saw the I got the email for it, so I'm gonna check those out, and I'm actually gonna try to reach out to him, see if I can have him on the podcast. But hey, it is what it is. Speaking of missing out on things, Jamie Lee Curtis, who is a fan of One Piece, did not know that. Um, she was supposed to play Dr. Carrera in, I guess, season 2 of One Piece, but unfortunately, that is not going to happen for her. And I forgot to tell you guys some of the cast that got added to the series for season 2. So they're getting David Dastmalchian, who we all know as Polka Dot Man from the Suicide Squad, and Kurt from the Ant-Man movies. He was also in the hell's the name of that movie? Something with the Devil, that late night with the Devil. That was a hit that I haven't seen because I just haven't seen it. Yeah, Late Night with the Devil. He was also in Prisoners, Last Voyage of the Demeter, which nobody saw. But yeah, and Cameron Johnson, who, if you watch Batgirl, everyone knows he played Luke Fox. But unfortunately, like I said, she couldn't do it because apparently she's too busy. She's got too many films and shows that she'll be a part of, and the time it just didn't line up properly. This is coming from showrunner Matt Owens. He said Jamie definitely wanted to do it, but she's got deals in first position, and it just became complicated. Oh, I'm sorry, this isn't from the showrunner. This is from the executive producer, Becky Clements. She was being interviewed, and they asked if they'll hold the character of Dr. Kuera for like season 3, and they said that part has already been given to an amazing person. That's too damn bad! So yeah, One Piece is in a few weeks into production, which is back in Cape Town. And that was just basically a status update. And they said that things are going well, from the cast to the VFX and stunt team. And Becky Clements said that some of them are the best that she's worked with this IP. Oda's brain is so fertile and unique, and everyone is invigorated every day. Like, how are we going to do this? And folks who've been at this for a while can just feel like almost childlike excitement trying to pull it off. So I'm pretty sure One Piece will be returning next year. For those of you who watch it, I will not be watching it. Was not a fan of the first season. I'm just not a fan of One Piece. It is what it is. Get over it. And speaking of also things that will be returning next year, Netflix has also confirmed that Stranger Things will be returning in 2025. So it's just like, okay, we just gotta wait a little bit longer. Be a little bit patient. It is what it is. Who cares? Get over it. We got some comic book news. Like I said, I rarely talk about comic book news, but DC is starting to lean more into the multiverse. Oh shit. I don't know if how this is going to work per se. I don't know if this is going to be like a like their version of the Ultimate Universe that Marvel recently rebooted in January. But DC has announced a all-in special, which is a 64-page single-issue mega event presented as a startling symmetrical flip book. And this is supposed to show a new slice of the DC multiverse and offer a fresh refresh of DC Core's ongoing titles along the way. So I don't see, just by that, it's just like, so we're going with the multiverse, but we're doing a refresh of the core titles. So they said, promising bold new directions for DC's mainstay superheroes. The issue will serve as a spearhead in a line-wide initiative combining an exciting reimagined DC universe. A reimagined universe of DC superheroes with an ongoing line of core titles written by Scott Snyder and Joshua Williamson, with art by Daniel Sampari. And the story is said to concern a vastly different version of Darkseid returning to Earth, prompting the heroes of the DC universe to come together and face him down. As the press release states, when the first blow lands, the shockwaves will ripple across DC core series, shaking the nature of their realities to the very foundation. And from what I've seen, like I said, I've just seen like a splash page, and it looks awesome. But I would like more detail about this. Hopefully, some of it comes out from Supercon, not Supercon, San Diego Comic-Con, and they haven't necessarily shown much about as far as art goes, they do have the splash page, which shows in the background two different versions of Darkseid using their Omega beams. And one side, I'm going to start with the right side first, is the Earth 1 superheroes of Martian Manhunter, Batman, Wally West Flash, Superman, Clark Kent, Wonder Woman, Zatanna, John Stewart, Booster Gold, and Starfire. And the other side is we have a version of Superman who looks very emo with a 5 o'clock shadow and long hair slightly going over his eye. Wonder Woman with tattoos and a very big, buff, burly Batman. So I'm all in. So why not? But this will be so they said this new Absolute Universe trilogy will kick off with the release of Absolute Batman #1 October 9th, and will feature art by Nick Dragotta, and once again written by Scott Snyder. In this iteration, fans will be introduced to a version of the Dark Knight that doesn't have any money, mansion, or butler of his core line counterpart. Readers will quickly find out what makes the absolute version of Batman. October 23rd, we'll see the release of Absolute Wonder Woman #1, written by Kelly Thompson and art by Hayden Sherman. As the press release states, for Diana, there is no Paradise Island, no sisterhood to shape her, nor a mission for peace. So what is the purpose of an Amazon warrior in this universe? And most intriguingly, November 6th, we'll see the release of Absolute Superman #1, written by Jason Aaron and art by Rafa Sandoval. This book is set to introduce a version of the character with no family, no fortress of solitude, no home. In no home. And will he stand for truth, justice, and a better tomorrow in this new universe? So if you want to get DC All In one shot, that comes out in stores October 2nd, which I believe is a Tuesday. Siri, what day is October 2nd?
It's Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024.
Oh, so DC's going back to their Wednesday release schedule, I guess, because DC has been coming out on Tuesdays for like the past year and some change. But I'll be checking it out. And not necessarily comic book news, but the other side of that spectrum, let's talk about some stuff that's come out from Marvel, and it's mainly stuff regarding the MCU as a whole, or paraphernalia for the MCU. So one of the things we're going to talk about is we got the final Deadpool and Wolverine trailer on Friday, and it is confirmed that Daphne King will indeed be reprising her role as X-23 in Deadpool and Wolverine. So I'm pretty sure we all saw that one coming. But what I want to know is Sticky Fingers reprising his role as Blade from the TV show. Well, let us know. But speaking of merch, they also announced a Deadpool plush, which will be limited to, I believe it's 3,000. I'm not sure. Let me double check it.
5 minutes later.
We will also be getting some sneakers from Adidas. Some Deadpool Adidas and some Wolverine Adidas. But I can honestly say, I'm not going to try to get them because of the simple fact of the last time I tried to get some Adidas, it did not work out well for me. All three Spider-Mans, even though the Miles Morales ones that everyone hated for Spider-Man 2. But yeah, so it's 3,000 Deadpool plushies. Yeah, it's a 12-inch plush. Has flexible wiring for posing. It's a handcrafted design, and it's $69.69. So wow, so we just being fans all around, huh? So yeah, you can pre-order it now, and good luck to you. And speaking of being fans, Xbox, who just really needs people to buy their system, because they just come up with gimmicks for everything. Like last year, they had the Ninja Turtle controllers with the pizza incense. So now we got a cheeked up Deadpool controller. I cannot make this up. And I'm just like, he a fan. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 god. Freaky ass nigga, he a 69 god. Hey, run for your life. Hey, run for your life. But they didn't reveal the price of it, but they did also announce that you can go to Xbox's Twitter page for this. There is a contest where you can win a custom Deadpool Xbox, and you get the controller as well. I don't know what the parameters are for it because everyone was busy talking about the controller and not the contest. All right. So Kevin Feige was doing an interview with Gizmodo, and he said that not every character introduced in Phase 4 will appear in the upcoming Avengers films. He said, and I quote, there won't be room for 100,000 characters in it, so choices will have to be made, and that's for sure, but it doesn't mean you won't see anybody ever again. So I'm just like, if anything, I would say, I mean, I don't work in movies, but if you're going to have Secret Wars be the sixth Avengers movie, you should have that be more or less your in-game movie. And like you have Avengers 5, formerly known as the King Dynasty, be the movie where you have like all the new people in it. So you have like Miss Marvel, Yelena Belova, Kate Bishop. I said Miss Marvel, right? They're probably not going to put She-Hulk in there, but let's just say the people who were introduced in Phase 4 in there, trying to start like their own Avengers. But then, you know, at the end of it, they need help from the OGs. So like Kamala reaches out to Carol, and you know, they get in contact with Scott and Nebula, and that depends if you know who wants to come back. But yeah, and then you work from there. And it's also rumored, this came out from the Hollywood Reporter, that the Russo brothers are in talks to return to direct the next two Avengers movies. And everyone was like quoting Thanos, which was just so goddamn stupid. So they hit him. I just saw everybody posting, you know, yes, you know, you could not live with your own failure. And where did that bring you back to me? So who's failing at this point? Is Marvel failing or the Russos failing? Because Marvel's doing well. I mean, just a lot of people hate it just because like a lot of people from like Phase 1 through 3 haven't been around. It's like, let's see how much Eternals made. You know what? Let's just go to Phase 4 of Marvel. Let's do this real quick. Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4. We're just specifically talking about film. All right, Black Widow. Black Widow gets a little bit of grace because it came out during the pandemic, had a budget of 288.5 million, box office 379.8 million. So you had two choices. You had the choice of either going to the movie theater and risk getting sick, or paying the $20 on Disney Plus. Shang-Chi, budget of 150 to 200 million, $432.2 million. That's a profit. Eternals, 236.2 million, box office 402.1. That is not a profit. They needed to make at least 462.4. No Way Home obviously made $1 billion with a $200 million budget. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you know, the movie that gets so much hate, despite it making $955 million with a $350.6 million budget. Thor Love and Thunder. Story could have been a little bit better, but $250 million budget, $760.9 million box office. And let's see what Wakanda Forever got. You know, the movie that everybody hates because they had to pivot due to the passing of Chadwick Boseman. $250 million budget, box office, $859.2 million. It's like, what more do you want? All right, let's go to Phase 5. All right, Phase 5, television. I mean, not television, film. All right, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I believe I reported that this one kind of broke even. Okay, never mind, because they need to make up. This is the first time since in the inception of Wikipedia that I've seen the separation of gross and net on a budget. So the gross was 326.6 million, the net was 276 million, and it made 476. So no, not a profit. Guardians 3, $250 million budget, $845.6 million box office. The Marvels, we all know it bombed. Oh, they put the gross and the net on here for this one too, for some reason. But so not that many bombs as far as finances go. So didn't break even. It is what it is. Everything isn't gonna break $1 billion, or like there have been Marvel movies that haven't necessarily broken even. It's just like I'm just over like the complaining. Like people complained about She-Hulk. It's like, oh, prove to me you never read a She-Hulk comic by complaining about She-Hulk. She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall. She-Hulk started breaking the fourth wall way before Deadpool. Deadpool first appeared in the early 90s, I want to say. And She-Hulk was fourth wall breaking in the 80s. But it's just like you can't win without losing. So if the Russo brothers come back, cool. And everyone's like, oh, they haven't done much since, they left. I'm like, you motherfuckers don't pay attention to shit, because they produced several TV shows and several movies. Let me actually go to their filmography real quick, since I gave Marvel all this stuff. So after Avengers Infinity War, they produced something called, well, let's go at the end game. So they produced 21 Bridges that starred Chadwick Boseman. They produced a movie called Masul, something called Super Me. Joe Russo wrote Extraction, and they produced it together. They produced something called Relic. Cherry, they directed, and EP, that was that movie with Tom Hardy that's on Apple TV Plus. Wrote, directed, and produced The Gray Man. Produced Everything Everywhere All at Once, which they won, I believe they won an Oscar for. Let me double check this real quick. Where's accolades? All right, list of accolades received. Original. Well, I guess there's no what you call it for production, but that movie won what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Emmys. Suck my dick. Wrote and produced Extraction 2. They produced something called All Fun and Games, which I've never heard of. Let's see. It came out last year. Oh, it stars Natalia Dyer and Oscar Butterfield. And something called The Electric State, which they're directing and EPing. And that will be coming out on Netflix sometime this year. It has Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Ki-Hu Kwan, Stanley Tucci, Jason Alexander, whoever Woody Norman is, and Martin Kleba, who is the little man from Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Yeah, it also has Anthony Mackie, Giancarlo Esposito, Jenny Slate, and Brian Cox, and Billy Bob Thornton in it. It's just like, what the fuck you want? You can't, just a bunch of bitter old people out here just bitching about shit. But yeah, I'm gonna take a break. Listen to this ad from Dubby. This episode is brought to you by Dubby. Dubby gives you focus and energy without the crash and jitters. It has no sugar, fillers, or artificial dyes. Mix 1 packet or scoop into 8 or 12 ounces of water. Stir or shake well. Some powderiness is normal, and it has all the important vitamins. So this has vitamin C, B3, B6, and B12. And it's made from coffee fruit extract. So drink it and go conquer a task, and go to debbie.gg and use my promo code angryblerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. That's debbie.gg with promo code angryblerd10. All right, that's sex. I'm back. So an anime that I never finished. I only have like the first season, and I think I have like the first 10 volumes of it. Is getting a remake for Netflix. And that is Ranma One Half. So for those of you who don't know, Studio Mappa, who is the studio that worked on Attack on Titan, will be working on Ranma One Half, which will be coming to Netflix. It appears this October. So Ranma was a manga that was written and illustrated by Rumiko Takahashi, which started in 1989 as an anime and ran for 7 seasons. So it's a fantasy action rom-com that follows a martial artist named Rama, who has a curse put on him that means that every time he is splashed by cold water, he turns into a girl. And in order to turn back, he obviously has to get splashed by hot water. But things get a little bit sideways when his father, who gets turned into a panda when he splashed with cold water, decides to set him up with his friend's daughter, Akane Tendo, who is a martial artist prodigy who isn't attracted to men. Don't know if she's a lesbian, but I just know she likes to fight. Yeah, so when that comes out, I will definitely be watching it. Don't know if I'll be reviewing it because I don't have Netflix. I have to sail 7 seas sound effect. So yeah. If you want a new anime to watch, check out Ranma One Half. I believe the original series is on Hulu. So yeah, check it out. Speaking of things to check out, some more comic book news. There is a comic coming out called Arcbound. And this is the second comic that I've seen that has caught my eye that has a film star attached to it. And this is a comic from Scott Snyder, Frank Thierry. I don't know who Ryan Smallman is. I guess he is the inker or colorist, but Tom Hardy will be working on this comic. So yeah, this will be coming out from Dark Horse Publishing, which I thought was pretty much dead in the water because you don't really see that many Dark Horse comic books in comic book stores anymore. Am I thinking of? No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Top Cow, not Dark Horse. Dark Horse is fine. But yeah, so the official synopsis for the new series revealed that Arcbound is set in a future Earth that has been reduced to a barren wasteland. So it says Zentech harness. Wait, who the hell is Zentech? I guess the character says Zentech harnesses the unmatched energy of Chromium to assert its domination across the stars when Kai, a rising star mediator in Zentech's army, gets an unexplained message from a mysterious entity. Everything he thinks he believes is thrown into question, leaving him to explore what it truly means to be human in a world of boundaries, where boundaries of technology and identity blur. And Tom Hardy was doing an interview with Dateline. He said, I've always been drawn to the creative process in all aspects of storytelling. One of the biggest reasons I love comics is the canvas is limitless. A vast expanse to explore the human condition, character depth, and boundless realms, all only limited to our collective imagination. It's an honor to work along such legends such as Scott, Frank, and Ryan in helping bring the Arcbound universe to life. So it looks like this will be something along the lines of Berserker, where it will start off as a comic and eventually work its way into film, because Keanu Reeves is working on a Berserker film. But yeah, so if you want to pick this up, Arcbound #1 will be coming out in Dark Horse Comics in November on the 13th. So, I mean, the cover looks cool. I need to see some interiors because a lot of times that's how they get you. So they'll have a cool behind cover and, you know, the art could be better. It could be mid. It could just be trash. So I need to see some interiors for this. All right. Got some Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles news for you guys. The show is getting ready to come out next month on the 10th on Paramount Plus. And Chris Yost, who is actually one of my favorite comic book writers, didn't know he was EP in this show, was doing an interview with Total Film and he was talking about it. They asked him, what was the inspiration behind Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Because this is technically Mutant Mayhem 1.5. And he said, I watched a lot of Superbad, really, more or less, just to get the voice of it. And he said, we watched the movie over and over. And he said, you know, obviously this is picking up where Mutant Mayhem left off. He said that they will be adding a lot of lore from the comics. And he said, we always try to honor the comics because that's where it all came from. 40 years later, here we are telling these stories. I'm going to check the show out. I was very hesitant to, but I mean, I did enjoy the movie. I don't think I bought it yet. I don't think that's on the shelf. So I might have to get that soon because, you know, who knows how long that's going to, you know, be on the shelf. All right, guys. Spoiler alert time. It is time for me to tell you about episode 4 of Orphan Black Echoes, and that is titled "It's All Coming Back," which was written by Anna Fisco and directed by Don Williamson. So, with Jack supervising, Lucy and Jules turn to extreme measures to excavate a shared memory that contains clues of their past. Kira encounters Emily at the Daros Foundation event and discovers that she may be more fiend than foe. So this episode was good. Like the quick synopsis from IMDb said, Lucy and Jules decided to take some drugs to see if their memories line up, and they drew a bathroom with it looks like a church in the window. There were some clothes on the toilet and a knife. Jack's friend recognized the place as I can't remember the exact place, but Jack's friend Tina was like, "Oh, that's that building downtown." And so they went downtown and found out that the house that originally was a sorority, and they eventually tracked down the owner of the house, who was a old woman who suffers from dementia. Kira and Emily had their little heart-to-heart per se, where Emily is like, yeah, I'm not really gonna stand in your way, but if I gotta do my job and kill Lucy, I'm gonna kill Lucy. So you best get to her before I do. And so Emily decides to tip Kira off and tell them where they're headed. And it just seems like Emily is playing like double agent at this point, because she does confront Lucy in the hallway after they find out that Lucy and Jules are cloned from the old lady's daughter. And Jules's foster mom actually shows up to the care center where Lucy and Jules are, and Jules doesn't know who to trust, but it appears that Jules's mom isn't on it for now, from what I can tell. And Lucy bumps into Kira as she leaves the building, and Kira basically fills her in on everything. And that's how the episode ended. I was just like, oh my God, I hate this show. I hate when they leave the show on a cliffhanger. But apparently this show aired last year in like Australia. So I might just have to sell the 7 seasons to watch it instead of going week by week. But yeah, I mean, this episode was good as hell. And I'm just like, I really want more. So can we please, just get to it? What do I want to review next? Do I want to review... You know what? I think I am going to review The Acolyte. I think I'm going to review The Acolyte. All right, so let's get into episode 8 of The Acolyte, titled The Acolyte, which was directed by Hanel M. Culpepper and written by Jason Mielklieff. So this episode takes a majority of the episode takes place on Burnard, where May has escaped Seoul, and it also starts with Osha basically losing it after she puts on Kamir's Cortosis helmet, and she exhibits the powers of her mother, and she has a vision of May killing Seoul. So she tells him that she has to go to Brendock, and he says, "You're not going by yourself." All right, and so everybody lands on Brendock, and Seoul tries to find May, but Kamir and Osha go their separate ways, and Kamir and Seoul end up having a lightsaber battle while Osha tracks down May, and they have an argument, and May tells Osha that Seoul killed their mother, and she saw the whole thing, and eventually May escapes Osha and stops Seoul from killing Kamir in the process, and gets Seoul to admit that he killed their mother, while Osha has Soul's lightsaber and actually bleeds it and force chokes him to death. Meanwhile, back on Coruscant, Vanestra is being confronted by Senator Raincourt about the comings and goings of the Jedi and how they're keeping secrets from the Senate, and he doesn't like it. So she gets her Padawan Bog and a bunch of other Jedi Knights to go to Brendock, and she senses her former Padawan, aka Kamir, and he puts on the helmet because he's like, oh shit, and snoops around. Meanwhile, Osha and May are at the tree that they used to go to when they were kids, which is actually the Virgin spot. And Kamir eventually finds them and says, "Osha, we have to go." But he's getting ready to kill May, and she says, "I will go with you, but don't kill my sister." And he's like, "We can't really leave her alive because she's got too much information." But then he comes with the solution of, "Hey, I can wipe her memory of both me and you, but I'm not a master at this, so who knows how it's gonna go. So he does that and basically leaves her there at the tree while they escape. And Vanessa starts interrogating her, and she has no memory for the past 10 years. The last memory she has is when she was 8 years old. Meanwhile, Vanessa tells a lie to the Senate about Soul. Well, she tells a lie and a half truth. She tells a story of Soul killing all the people on Burnard, but Soul is the one who killed Endara, Kalnaka, and Master Torben because he couldn't live with the guilt of what he did. So, Jedi cover up. They're already fucking up. Osha and May are on whatever planet they were on before, and we do indeed get a appearance of Darth Plagueis the Wise, who is supposed to be like the first Sith ever. And we also get a cameo from Yoda, so it's just like, oh my god, the show ended. We don't know if there's a second season, and I'm just like, y'all need a second season because you just can't end on a cliffhanger of Darth Plagueis the Wise, who's never been seen in live action, and also we've never seen a Kyber crystal blade in live action. And I hate the fact that, like I said, a lot of people are hating this show because it's led by a woman of color, and everyone's like, oh, it took Anakin so long to bleed a crystal. Why could she do it just like that? Yes, they're both conceived from the Force, but here's the difference between Anakin and Osha. Osha wasn't conflicted when she bled the crystal. She was upset that she found out that the person who saved her life all those years ago killed her mother, so she lost it, and she was already being tempted to the dark side by Khmer in his arms. Okay, so it's like, what do you want? Go read some goddamn Star Wars comics and stop complaining about shit that you know nothing about. I'm just like, you just can't please anybody with these freaking people, man. It was but let me get into this final review of season 4 of The Boys. All right. So for those of you who don't know, this episode was originally called Assassination Run, but due to the fact that somebody tried to assassinate the Fat Orange guy, they just decided to call it the season 4 finale, which was directed by Eric Kripke and written by Jessica Chow and David Reed. So as we left off, Shapeshifter Annie is just fucking Huey's brains out and doing butt stuff. She proposes to distract Huey from the boys' plan to stop the assassination. Homelander loses his shit when he sees a photo of Becca and a Butcher, which leads Ryan to run the Butcher, who was dying at a government facilitated hospital. The reunion between Ryan and Butcher goes swimmingly until Grace decides to butt in and say, hey, Ryan, yeah, we gotta hide you from your dad, and we're gonna train you to get to the point where you can kill your father, because you're the only one at this point who could stop him. And Butcher is still trying to appease to Ryan. He's telling Grace to let him go because he will come back on his own time, but Grace is just too busy being freaked out about everything that's happening. Ends up getting killed by Ryan. Meanwhile, the boys are with the Secret Service hiding the president, but don't realize that Shapeshifter Annie is with them until the Shapeshifter said something that they said in the last episode about it being hot in here. So they freak out and try to get the president out, but then Annie actually shows up after the Shapeshifter revealed that Huey indeed proposed, and kills the Shapeshifter. And while this is happening on Firecracker's talk show, Homelander reveals that Victoria has powers. So at this point, Victoria's on a rock and a hard place. She decides to cut a deal with Huey and the boys, but Butcher decides to fuck it all up and he murders her on the spot. And Sister Sage reveals that this was the plan all along. We might have taken a few speed bumps along the way, but she uses some of the footage of the CIA with the president-elect saying that, you guys should have killed Newman when you had the chance to the boys, and he gets arrested. So now the government invokes the 25th Amendment, where one of the senators is indeed now the new president and is Homelander's lapdog. So just remember, Sister Sage did all this just to see if she could. She did it just to see if she could. And I think that might be the name of the episode. But man, Butcher fucked up. All the boys have been kidnapped. Well, not kidnapped. They've been captured by the government because now the president gave Homelander the power of martial law to arrest any Starlighters or anyone who doesn't agree with what he says. So Love Sausage kidnapped Huey, Sam, and Kate. Got Kimiko and Frenchie, and Kimiko spoke for the first time on this show. That Magneto chick from Gen V got Huey, while Annie's powers finally started to, get their shit together, and she flew off, and that was an awesome fly off. That was like on some Superman type stuff. And Butcher is just seen driving in the night with the hallucination of Kessler with the virus, and due to the fact that this idiot Butcher killed Victoria, Victoria's daughter, Grace? Not Grace. Crap, I can't remember Victoria's daughter's name, but she ends up going to Red River just like her mother. And I'm just like, man, what are we doing? It's like, why would you? Butcher, you're an idiot. Okay, we don't. Who knows what leverage Victoria had on Homelander? Like, this could have been done, but I get it. It's to move the plot of the show. So, I mean, just, yeah. So season 5 is going to be crazy. We're obviously going to get Gen V sometime like maybe the end of this year, beginning of next year, in between season 4 and 5 of The Boys. But yeah, guys, I think that's it. This is your boy Bernard, aka the Scarlet Spider. That was another episode of the Angry Blerd podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to w.gg. Use my promo code AngryBlerd10 at checkout to save 10% on your order. Next week will be episode 5 of Orphan Black Echoes. I might review Twisters. Don't know yet, because that necessarily doesn't fall in the sci-fi umbrella per se. It's a movie about a tornado. And I'll see y'all next week. Oh, and obviously all the SDCC news that comes out. So yeah, I'll see y'all next week. Peace, you punk bitches.